Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be covering what is now a high risk of severe weather and tornadoes throughout the day today, throughout the night tonight, and then a moderate risk of severe weather throughout the day tomorrow. Now, I'm going to ask you to do a few things this morning. First off, we have that stream that is already scheduled. We're going to be starting that mid-morning, late morning today, me and Brendan, if you were there for the other stream. You can click that link in the pinned comment, click that link in the description if you need live coverage or if you just like weather and want to be a part of that, and hit the reminder button. Also like that stream. It's going to help us out a lot to get started with that algorithm and help people out, get more people seeing the stream and seeing that information. Now, also, you can start doing this now, but it's going to be more helpful once the stream is already started. Share that stream with as many people as possible via text, via Facebook, via Twitter. Whatever it is, just people that live in those regions, let's help get the information out to everybody. And I know as a community, we can do this. We can keep as many people safe as possible, and that's how you can do your part to help keep people safe. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think there's any chance, God forbid, we get upgraded to a high risk for the day tomorrow as well, or do you think we will stay a moderate risk there? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, we're out of the intro. We're a minute and 15 seconds in. I hope you guys are still here. I just had some important things to go over there. Let's get into the radar, and you can see things are already getting crazy. We have that snowfall that we talked about earlier going on for New Mexico and Texas. That is a pretty big deal, but I just mostly want to focus on the severe weather here today because this is a very huge deal. And just to put it into perspective, we haven't had a high risk since 2019, May of 2019. So this isn't some sort of, we see this a few times a year type event. This is like once every 3 or 4 years type event here potentially that we're talking about. I say potentially because sometimes we see these events play out in many different ways. Sometimes we see 100 plus tornadoes, in which case that is a absolute massive outbreak like Easter of last year, and it wasn't even a high risk. It should have been. But sometimes we see more like 10 tornadoes, 15 tornadoes, and it seems like it probably should have just been a moderate risk. But regardless, one tornado is enough to kill people, do damage, things like that. So we want to take this absolutely seriously, especially considering the Storm Prediction Center has decided to go with a high risk. What we're going to do in a moment is we're going to zoom in and just take a look at these individual areas for now. Now, for northern Oklahoma and Kansas, we still have an area of thunderstorms. We even have those severe thunderstorm warnings going on in those yellow boxes. As you can see, the atmosphere is clearly just very, very good for severe weather. Last night, we had a supercell. I posted that on my YouTube channel. You guys might have seen that, but we were only in a marginal risk. So I think that's just showing how good this atmosphere already is setting up early on for just tornadic activity and severe weather activity in general. Now, let's go ahead and zoom into some other areas real quick. Now, as you can see throughout Arkansas, we are having some pretty severe thunderstorms going on already as well, especially there in the northern regions. We were earlier having some severe thunderstorms, but now mostly the southern regions there, where we also have a tornado warning set up there on the bottom of a hook echo, and that one's about to head into Mississippi. We saw tornado warnings yesterday. We're seeing them again today already this morning. So this is already getting underway pretty early. These are going to generally move out of the area, actually, these thunderstorms that are around. They're going to move north and east of the severe weather regions throughout the mid-morning, early morning. And then by late morning, early afternoon, we're going to see a new area of thunderstorms develop. I'm going to aim for about 12 p.m. to see those storms begin developing, but it might be a little bit earlier. It might be a little bit later, but you're going to want to wait for that modeled guidance where we're going to talk more about those things, about the upcoming things, and that's coming up soon. So let's go ahead and zoom in and take a look at some of those more southern thunderstorms going on. Now, this is actually what is set up to be later on our more linear mode of storms that are going to fly through the area throughout the evening tonight and throughout the night, overnight tonight. So that's going to be happening way later today for areas like Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, even Georgia throughout the very, very late night, early morning tomorrow. And then eventually the Carolinas, eastern Georgia, Virginia going to get included tomorrow. So as you can see, this is a very strong line of thunderstorms, and that actually slammed into Fort Worth and Dallas a little bit earlier this morning. It seemed like a very wind-driven event, and I'm sure that there was some reports of wind damage there, as this storm shape here is just very classic for storm damage and wind damage to occur. But this is going to generally move eastward, and eventually this line could have some embedded supercells in it as well, where this is going to become a bit of a tornadic line as well way later tonight. Me and Brendan are still going to be live by that point. That's what we're aiming for, is to be live very late tonight. So if, again, you want to click that link, set the reminder, we are going to be working through this system with everybody if you do live in these areas expecting severe weather. We're going to do our best to break down what is going on throughout this entire event. We're expecting to go live, again, late morning. Right now I have it set to 10:55 as the start time. So yeah, we're going to get underway very, very early and stick around a very long time with you guys. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to move on and we are going to break down some of that modeled guidance and talk about what's upcoming with this major severe weather event in just a moment. Now, here's our categorical outlook, and this is absolutely insane. As of this morning, we do have a high risk, like I said, for the first time since 2019. Me and Brendan were on the phone yesterday talking about this, and we both mentioned that if it's more sunny, if it's more clear, there's less showers, and it looks like those are going to clear out, that there would likely be a high risk. And we were kind of eyeballing this exact area as well, northeastern Louisiana and through Mississippi. And sure enough, I wake up and that is the case here. We do have that high risk, a very large moderate risk as well. So there's going to be just a ton to talk about, obviously, throughout the entire day today and overnight tonight. And I'm just hoping everybody stays safe throughout this. Even if you're in the marginal risk, again, we had a supercell with a tornado warning yesterday in a marginal risk. So nobody is safe here. You're going to want to really just pay attention, stay tuned, have those NOAA radios, have everything prepared. Again, I have links down below for many things like that you can check out and purchase. Obviously, it's a little too late for this event if you don't already have one, but for the next time, there obviously will be a next time eventually. Be sure to be prepared. Here's our individual wind outlook here, and within the green, we have a 5% chance. Within the yellows, we have a 15% chance, and within the reds, we have a 30% chance of damaging wind, and that's all within 25 miles of a given location. So let's say you're in the 30% area, there is a 30% chance that there will be damaging wind within 25 miles of your house if you live within that region. That significant area is picking up the chance for significant wind damage, even beyond what is typically considered severe. So we're going to be on the lookout for that as well. Here's the hail outlook, still 25 miles within any given location, by the way. We have 5% in the green, 15% in the yellow again, and then 30% in the red. And then we do have that hatched area again for Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and a bit of Arkansas. That's going to be associated with those supercells there, guys. So 2-inch diameter hail plus is very likely within that hatched region there, that black hatched region. And then the tornado risk, and this is what I'm especially concerned about, and this is the reason we got the high risk. They don't just throw a categorical high risk out just because they think there's a high risk. They actually only do it when they reach a certain percentage in any of the individual parameters, and this is the one that triggered that to happen. As you can see, we have a 30% chance of tornadoes there within that purple region. But let me work my way up. It's still 25 miles within a given location, from a given location there. So 2% in the green, 5% in the brown, 10% in the yellow, 15% in the red, which for reference, that's what we had over the panhandle of Texas the other day when we saw some large damaging tornadoes. But now we even have a 30% chance there in that kind of purplish shade for Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, and a bit of Alabama. And that is what we're especially concerned about. 30% chance within 25 miles of a given location of tornadoes. And that black hatched region means EF2s to EF5s are looking possible for that region. So very large, damaging long track tornadoes are possible within that region. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and take a look at the modeled guidance. We're going to take a look at temperatures, CAPE, shear, significant tornado parameter, and even the simulated radar in just a moment. So here's those expected temperatures, and here's the thing that's really bad, guys. This is our HRRR model. The cool thing here is that this model updates every single hour, so you're getting the most up-to-date information. And we're reaching the high temperature by this point. This is approximately 2 or 3 p.m. here this afternoon. And this model yesterday had us in the upper 70s, maybe like 80 in some spots in southern Mississippi. Now this model is picking up some mid 80s for Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas. And I'm sure this had something to do with that high risk coming in, or that high risk had something to do with this coming in, better yet. But really, this is a significant boost to that severe weather potential since yesterday, which is a very bad news. Obviously, those dew points are going to be in the lower to upper 60s, even some lower 70s in the dew points, which is very sufficient moisture for that severe weather activity as well. Really, this event is setting up perfectly for tornadoes and severe weather to occur, which is obviously the opposite of perfect for us. This is the most unideal situation you could possibly be in. I'm really hoping we just get through the day and night tonight with minimal amounts of tornadoes and no major tornadoes. Really, guys, the shear here, and this is typical of a wintertime severe weather outbreak, which it still is kind of like a winter pattern right now, obviously. We have those browns and whites and pinks showing up, and that's indicating very high amounts of shear, which is only going to create more tornadic activity. Let's go ahead and break down that simulated radar, and first things first, we're at 5 a.m. And the reason I'm showing you this is because we will have showers there in Louisiana and Mississippi, and when I was looking last night, this looked like it would be a lot more significant. We would have much more showers in the area for Louisiana and Mississippi and Arkansas, and the reason that's crucial is because those eat up the CAPE and don't allow for that CAPE to increase. We know convective available potential energy, or CAPE, is thunderstorm food. The higher the CAPE, the more potential these thunderstorms have to develop further and further and further. These supercells become larger and much more sufficient for larger tornadoes. So if there was going to be showers throughout the whole morning until this severe weather event occurred, I was thinking we would stay at a moderate risk. Obviously, now that doesn't appear to be the case, and I think that's one of the main reasons we got the upgrade. So yes, we do have showers by 5 a.m., which is 2 hours ago. Here's by 10 a.m., you can see those clear out. You can see Louisiana, southern 7/8 of Mississippi by this point are completely clear. And then the bottom 3/4 of Alabama are also clear. There is some little sprinkles picking up on this model. I don't know if that'll be the case. And for reference, look at that. Right where we've cleared, that's where the border of the northern edge of that high risk is for reference there. So I think that is, again, a major reason why the SPC did go ahead and upgrade to a high risk there. We do have a moderate risk, obviously, touching the Tennessee border, and I think even going up into Tennessee. So they don't think it'll hold it back too much, but it's the difference between that moderate and that high risk region. And for reference also, the CAPE, you can see we have minimal amounts of CAPE by this point, by 10 a.m. for northern Mississippi. That is going to completely go up later on in the evening, but the areas that have cleared, you can see, are in the reds and, just significant amounts of CAPE. That's where we're at 2,000 plus CAPE versus like 500 up there in the northern regions of Mississippi. So that's the difference between showers or no showers. By 1 p.m., we're seeing thunderstorms develop here for Mississippi and Alabama, and the Storm Prediction Center has mentioned that this will quickly become supercells with the potential for large, damaging, long-track tornadoes. So this is the reason we have the high risk, is for this this warm sector, this area of supercells developing out in front of the line. You can picture the line right there, right near the Texas and Louisiana border. It is in Texas by this point, though. Let's move that forward towards about 3 p.m., and you can see those supercells just developing there for Mississippi and Alabama, all the way up through Birmingham, Montgomery, and then a little bit east of Jackson, Mississippi there. And then our main line of thunderstorms there, the linear ones, are right along that Texas-Louisiana border, like I said. By 5 p.m., we can see that linear area becomes more like supercells for central Louisiana and Arkansas. We still see supercells out there widespread throughout Alabama. We do see a bit of a clearing there for Mississippi. But those second line of supercells, those embedded supercells, you can see it's a line by 10 p.m. of thunderstorms. These are moving through the areas that have already seen supercells and tornadoes. So there is a 1-2 punch that's going to occur today with 2 potential threats of supercells and large, damaging, violent tornadoes here. We can see that main area of supercells out front is now located basically in eastern eastern Alabama and through moving in through potentially into Georgia as well. Let's move that towards 1 a.m. and you can see that linear area of embedded supercells is now located over central Alabama. By that point, again, we still might need to be live by that point. And then by the time we're reaching 4 a.m., these are kind of looking a little less violent, hardly, but for eastern Alabama now, and portions of the panhandle of Florida and then northern Georgia are getting in on some of that. So let's take a look at that significant tornado parameter, and this is by about 3 p.m. And so you can see that those areas, this is where those supercells are out front of the line. You can tell where that line is for central Arkansas, central Louisiana. But those supercells, those discrete supercells is what we call them, the ones that aren't a part of the line, they're all individual areas of supercells. And we see those bright pinks being picked up there for Alabama and portions of Mississippi. That is where this model is picking up on the potential for significant tornadoes and just really great conditions for tornadoes to develop. But it's mostly by 6, 7, 8 p.m. here, as you can see, as that main line moves through. This is for central Mississippi mostly, but a bit of Arkansas and Tennessee here. We see very bright pinks. The maximum on the bar at the bottom says 10, but you can tell as you look at that bottom right area, the maximum being picked up here is 20 on that significant tornado parameter, which is double of anything on that bar. So we are just absolutely through the roof on the significant tornado parameter. And then by about 1 a.m., you can see for central Alabama mostly, we have a 15.45 being picked up on the significant tornado parameter. So for now, the biggest threat looks to be in Mississippi, although it's just a massive risk everywhere at this point. Like I said earlier, nobody's safe. You're going to want to just take this so seriously, guys. It's a very serious event we're taking a look at today. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about day 2. I know this video is very long here. For our day 2 categorical outlook, which is all I'm going to show here because we're going to really just break this down tomorrow morning. That's what tomorrow morning's video is going to be. So stay tuned for that. We're going to talk more about what's going to be going on throughout the day tomorrow, but we already have a moderate risk for tomorrow as well. So again, the dark greens is a marginal risk where there can still be significant supercells and tornadoes occurring, because we saw yesterday a storm that was, capable of doing things like that occur in a marginal risk. So nobody is safe. We see the yellow areas, that's our slight risk, where we have a little bit more chance. That orange areas that are enhanced risk, and that's where we start to see some widespread severe weather. And then within the red, we have that moderate risk, which is where we expect significant severe weather to occur. Some embedded supercells are still going to be going on throughout the day tomorrow, mostly in the late morning and early afternoon there for Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. But you can see also Virginia getting in on some of that as well. This is going to be a bad 2-day event. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we're out of 6 out of 6, unfortunately. We're talking about things that are happening today and tomorrow. We're as confident as we can be in a severe weather event. So unfortunately, we are at a high confidence rating there. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you think we will be at a high risk for today? I asked you guys that yesterday, though, and Kyle Barbarino said, I think there can possibly be an upgrade to a high risk and a 30% hatched risk of tornadoes tomorrow. The reason I picked this one, you can see it's 22 hours ago, is this is exactly what we've seen happen. So that was a great prediction there, unfortunately, by Kyle Barbarino there. Anyways, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Property Damage, John Benbenick, James Wade, Dovi Nagel, Alan Belemo, Adam S., Larry LePan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aidan Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Mark J, Luke Valego, Gary's, and John Quilisi. If you would like to be a part of this patron end screen of the day, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share this video. Be sure to share the stream especially, and go like that stream. You are going to potentially save lives by doing that. So I urge you to go do that. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please stay safe, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.